Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It, and I just came back from the theater from seeing a film starring Adam Sandler called Uncut Gems, and I will give you my thoughts right after the jump. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. We're in the 100, folks. We're in the hundreds. I thank you so much. Once we start getting some things going with podcast restructuring, we will start doing some giveaways and having some fun stuff. All right. So thank you guys so much. Now, on to my thoughts. If you guys aren't aware, Uncut Gems is a new film from Adam Sandler, directed by the Safdie brothers, who've done a film called Good Time in 2017 and have a pretty extensive career of independent films that are these hard-hitting looks on a piece of life. In this film, Adam Sandler plays a gentleman named Howard Ratner, who is a jeweler who is basically down on his luck. And when I say down on his luck, this is relationship-wise to side relationship-wise to business, health, everything is kind of just on the down spiral. And to get from underneath, from underwater, he uses luck. He tries to use luck, chance, betting, things that aren't a surefire bet to get from under that to pay off or move ahead for the next thing. And it gets him into a lot of trouble. So this movie shows what it is to do that on a micro scale, and then that expounds and gets larger and larger. Let me say what I do like. I think this film does a really good job of putting the energy and the fast-paced world in your face. There's never a moment, a downtime. There's never a moment to breathe. This movie it goes, and from start to finish, you're in it. You feel it. There's one thing that this film does great is that it makes you feel tension from start to finish, and you're in it. You believe these characters. You believe this world. You believe this life. Adam Sandler does a fantastic job in the movie. I don't know if I am on the entire train of he should be getting an Oscar. He should probably get a Golden Globe nomination, but to get an Oscar nomination, it's a weird thing. I like his performance in this, but for me, my brain, maybe I should say this for the dislikes, but it kind of blends in together. I don't think this is him doing anything out of the ordinary. Like, I've seen him in movies like Click or Spanglish where he's doing talented. This is an Adam Sandler performance in a very different film, so therefore it looks different overall. Like, this is an Adam Sandler heightened, stressed, manic performance, but in a film where that manicness feels more hopeless and you're more sad or more earnest or more angsty for him than the typical when he's doing it when he's like playing a 40-year-old in a 15-year-old mentality. Like, it just feels different. And I think that's why you kind of raise it. But I think he does an admirable job. He does a great job with this work. It's just, I'm not going all the way over there. I also really like KG's great. I like the supporting cast of this. Everybody fits in pretty well. KG, Lakeith, Julia Fox. I don't know where she's come from. I have not seen her or recognized her from anything before, but she's great in this. And Idina Menzel, as his wife, does some great performances too. You can tell that this woman is done, and I like that. She's like, I've been through this enough with you, Howard. I've had enough of this. And so for overall, I like this movie. There are some dislikes that I have. One of them is being, for me, and this is going to get into slight spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, you might want to turn away. This movie ends in a way, and I'm not going to give it away, but this movie ends in a way that is very predictable to me. And this is for me as an actor, as a person who does theater, who has written stuff. This movie never introduces any of the hitmen to have a gun previous to the last scene of this film. In the last scene of this film, a gun is presented. So my brain immediately knows, like, well, then there's a choice. There's a reason why this is all of a sudden put on. So the second whatever happens to our main character happens, or whatever happens to in the finale that happens, I saw it because something just didn't line up. Now, I didn't see it to the full extent that it went to, but I did definitely kind of, within that last moment, that should have been me not seeing that come out of nowhere type of thing, and I think that's what they were going for. And for me, it didn't, and that sucks because I was on the ride, and for me that one punch is just like I wish my brain was not clicking and working overdrive because I saw that coming. But I think the final sequence that is happening that leads up to that point is brilliant. It's just I wish the payoff was a little bit better. Two, it's a weird thing. The very, very, very finale of this movie, the last 10 seconds of it, if you will, we start going on to some existential stuff that I don't know if this film had earned. Like, I almost feel like this movie would have been better had we cut while we pan off to whatever we pan off to in the final seconds of acting in the film. When we start going otherworldly, this movie just kind of like, oh, what the hell? Now, was this a school project or a science project? Like, what are we doing? And because nothing else in this film really has that outside of KG looking into the opal, I kind of am like, well, what are we doing? I don't quite know. And then the other thing that's really hard for me, and this is a hard thing when you do any films where you're doing character studies, I think the performances are great. It feels like a manic lived-in world. The problem that I have is that the majority of these people are not likable, specifically Howard. It's hard for me to feel bad or feel empathy for somebody who just keeps doing this to himself, who does this to his family, who does this to his wife. And I love his relationship that he has with Julia, the side girl. But I know he had to get into that relationship by destroying this relationship. So I was like, you're not really a good person. Nothing you're doing has any hope or value or goodness to it. So I'm kind of just like, this is a fine movie to watch, but I'm not rooting for anybody in this. So it becomes more of an exercise in watching tension as opposed to watching an exercise and watching a character do something that I think they are being redeemed for. I guess that makes why he's not a good person. What happens to the overall arc of his film for him happen. It works because you're like, oh yeah, you weren't really that good of a person. Perhaps not deserving of what happens to you, but you're not that good of a person. But and so it's hard for me to suggest this film to anybody. Similar to Joker, where I'm like, this is a good movie. There's good things that happen in it, but I don't know if there's a qualitative, this person is the person you should stick with and kind of ride this through with. But it is a very, just like Joker, character study. You have actors doing their best acting performance in a film that allows them to do that, but doesn't really have much to say in it. So those are my thoughts on Uncut Gems. Have you guys seen it? What did you guys think? I know it's in a lot of people's top 10s critics-wise, but I've also seen fans just deride and hate this film. I'm not there, and no, I'm not the critic, but I'm in the middle. I think this is a really good film. So on my list of give me a time stone so I never have to see this again, Once Is Enough or Play It Again, Sam, this falls into the Once Is Enough. I don't think that I actually would sit through this movie again, but I am glad that I did the one time. Because I think Adam Sandler deserved that. And I think that the rest of the talent and actors and everything that's going on in this world deserve that. But I'll never see this one again. But those are my thoughts. What did you guys think? Leave your comments in the comments below. You can hit us up on email at hollywoodaLreadyDidIt@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter at HollywoodADI. And we have a podcast by the same name that is on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts. We are there. But like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.